Gracious ladies and gentlemen, when long ago the waters covered the earth, and the beauty and perfection of God through the evolutionary process began to expand, to vivify, and to create, to the vision of man as well as unto God, the greatness of the outer manifestation. Life was not then also without an inner manifestation of devotion and the formation of the universal Christ within the heart of man. For there is an outer manifestation, an act of creation, which is concerned with the physical aspect of life. And there is also a magnificent inner repository of God good, so filling mankind, flooding mind and heart with those concepts that are benign, that if one will strive to attune with that aspect of his being and not regard the manifestation of selfhood as entirely connected with the physical body, he will find that he is able to externalize a greater portion of the universal aspects of God and his attendant attunement with that universal God. For the spirit of becoming one with God is essential to the manifestation of perfection in the lives of mankind. You have heard in the recent release of the book, Climb the Highest Mountain, of the synthetic image. Let it be known unto you then, one and all, that mankind, through their creation of that synthetic image, have established in their world a pseudo-manifestation of universality and of mankind. When they understand the creation of God as a volatile action of the very molten love of his heart, flowing out as a volcano of loveliness into his consciousness and domain, mankind will conceive of the omnipresence of God as touching his life and consuming the dross in that life, little by little, until none remains any more at all. And through the power of transmutation's flame, life is lifted up from a moth or a leaf that is drying or flitting unto that which understands the vibrancy of life and the qualities that direct the life of mankind into not only an intelligent manifestation of perfection, but one that is able to gauge the passions of the living God, of which they also are a part. Let men understand then, in the valor of their heart and the constancy of their being, that the fruition of perfection within their life is not a happenstance, but a manifestation of cosmic courage, which can be drawn forth and magnetized from the heart of God. Nothing happens by chance, beloved ones, for all is a manifestation of some law, either the law by which a man is able to cast himself down as a moth unto the ground, or raise himself up and soar as on eagle wings into the consciousness of God and the throne of cosmic peace. I am called Saint-Germain, and I bear to you this day contact with my own living flame. All that I am, all that I hope to be, all that you are, when you say, with God delight the name of God, I am, is fulfilled in your consciousness as you offer yourself point by point unto the perfection of God. For although this perfection did manifest with the first day of creation, I can assure you by all that is holy and pure, that mankind's contact with perfection is contact with God through the ritual of the days, and therefore sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof, and sufficient unto the day is the righteousness of each man as he apprehends little by little the magnificent Eucharist of the sacred word coming through the ritual of the days. You are changed, as Paul said, from glory unto glory, even as by the Spirit of the Lord. But I want you to pause and consider this day the many people throughout the planetary body, those who have a beating heart just as you have, who are ignorant and held in the very bond of ignorance by reason of mankind's stultification in dogma and dogmatism, in strange rituals which do not seem strange to people because they have become familiar. I want all to understand then that whereas man is prone today, whene'er he hears of the great rituals of the brotherhood, to in some way or other have doubts, confusions of mind, and chaos of being, he cannot seem to recognize that the very things with which he identifies today are those things which are common to him by reason of familiarity and the association with them. Let men then raise their heads in triumph toward the skies, for there no longer nor never was a need for mankind to be cast down in the gall of bitterness. When the ritual of the Lamb's blood is understood correctly, mankind perceives that God does not thrust either his beloved Son or anyone into a volcano or into a situation where they become a sacrificial lamb. For each man shall bear his own burden, and each man shall be raised unto the perfection of his Christ self, even as Christ Jesus made known unto mankind long ago in those sacred mysteries which were often not spoken in public, but were spoken privately to his disciples, and have never been recorded anywhere save in the rituals of Akasha. I am Saint-Germain, and I come to you today because of your flame of devotion, because of the flame of the devotion of many hearts that are also devotions to the cause of freedom. For the world today is in turmoil as never before, and darkness covers the land. It is a thick darkness as in ancient Egypt, and it does not promote freedom among mankind. Mankind are ever coming more and more into a spirit of bondage because they have not accepted nor understood the rituals of freedom. You then are they to whom heaven has given that God delight, which is to understand the sacred mysteries of God and to be a part of that which is most holy. Yet all your brothers throughout the planetary body are also those who ought to become recipients of God's grace in a most unusual manner, yes, because many of them in past lives have continually manifested greed, selfishness, and a complete trampling upon the things of the Spirit. What you see today manifesting in the physical world of violence, of deceit, of a lack of tranquility is but a manifestation of the violence in which mankind has increasingly lived through the wars of the ages. I want you to understand then that the realm of God peace is a realm which is of God desire. The causes of the sacred fire have never been more sacred, for more and more does the history of the devotion of the martyrs, of the saints, of the chosen ones, manifest itself in the epoch of man's freedom that clearly speaks to each heart and reveals to all who will understand and accept it that heaven is behind the movement of mankind's freedom into that domain which is true Christ freedom, the freedom of the living soul, to exercise its prerogative and choices, and to encase itself no longer in human mold or deceit, but by the power of the transmuting flame, raise itself in God victory and a renewal of that hope which courses through the being of man, through the arteries of man, and through the veins of man, as the living lifeblood of the universal Christ. For all men upon the planetary body were made of one blood, to bear witness to the life force in its essence within them, which is spiritual. And mankind is indeed far more a spirit than he is a physical form manifesting upon the screen of life. I want you to understand that my heart this day is full of devotion for the love of God that you bear within yourself, the devotion and feeling which you have toward all mankind, and the understanding that simply because something was not understood by you yesterday can indeed be with you today and be as real and as genuine as anything else in life has ever been genuine. Will you understand with me today that there was a moment when you trembled upon the wings of birth and you knew not the physical form of life and life manifestation, friends or foes? Yet today mankind comes suddenly into those juxtapositions whereby they meet individuals upon the streets of life that they may not have seen before in their entire embodiment. Yet suddenly that person may become a vital friend or a vital enemy. But what a tragedy it is when mankind choose the prerogative of the latter, for wherever there is discord or inharmony, it immediately produces that dark fruit which is a poison within the world body, and eventually reacts upon the entire human race to produce those manifestations which are vile, to say the least. I want you to understand then that true love, that love which casts out all darkness, that love which establishes the banner of freedom over the world, over the fountain of mankind's hearts, that produces a pool of cosmic reserve energy which can rush in to quench those unfortunate human flames and conflagrations, must indeed be exercised by those who understand it. We do not expect that all shall always understand all of the sacred mysteries, nor do we anticipate that mankind will be able suddenly, in a matter of a day, a month, or a year, to manifest complete understanding. After all, even from our level of ascension, we find at that level that there is a certain ongoingness, a triumph of universal mystery that stands behind the wings, so that each day, even at ascended levels, is a renewal of experience as the transcendency of God manifests itself from glory unto glory, even by His Spirit. Oh, I assure you, beloved ones, you need have no fear of death nor of dying. For I tell you that the greatest of fears are to be found in physical living, where mankind does not understand or apprehend the magnificence of the God estate, and therefore, because of his lack of understanding, produces those unwholesome situations from time to time that are most unfortunate in their manifestation. Do you see? I want you to understand then that the closer the world body politic comes into a state of consonance with the love of God, then shall the world know such magnificence of cosmic invention as will be a triumph not only to the physical body in the overcoming of physical illness, but also as a manifestation of perfection in every realm of invention, transportation, communication, health, and even the production of cosmic abundance and the sense of cosmic abundance, which will enable mankind to draw forth and magnetize from the Godhead those particular facets of triumph which are a mark of cosmic ascendancy, revealing clearly to all who see it that that man or that woman is moving forward day after day in a consciousness of God victory. I am Saint-Germain. I recognize the problems now existing in the world, but I cannot recognize them as though they were a tangible reality that could never be mended. You will recall that there is on record the statement, God can mend thine every flaw. And when mankind thinks of the casting of the Liberty Bell, and of that great bell that hangs in Philadelphia, they will understand that God can indeed mend the flaws of their nation, whatever that nation may be. They will understand also that God can mend their individualized faults, whatever that manifestation may be. They will understand that God can perfect the cracks upon the heart of the world and produce in the heart of the world mother the understanding that her children are coming home. And with that advent, the coming home of God's children, the recognition of triumph in this latter-day age of mankind's heresy, we will see produced in the world the revelation of those sacred mysteries of the sacred fire that without question are pouring out upon mankind as never before, the sundering sword of devotion, that may in many cases fulfill the words of the living Christ. I am come not to send peace upon earth, but a sword. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. Let all understand then that in matters of spiritual reality, the unfoldment of God's consciousness is what is important. And therefore this is that which we stand behind and back with the full authority of our office. We want you to understand that freedom is more than a name. It is a game indeed that every man can play and every man can assist in. For when the earth is truly a free earth, it will be because it has enlisted the services of the many and not the few. Therefore I say, as I smite you upon the head each one with the sword of my authority and the ring of my consciousness and the power of Archangel Zadkiel, it is to remind you that although you have free will, I also have the same. And I choose to bring you, because you have come within the precinct of my consciousness, that blessing which will establish forever the forces of freedom in the world and will enable you to mark the triumph of the cosmic sword that is a replica of the flaming sword of Eden that guarded the way of the tree of life. For the priesthood of Melchizedek is a reality, and the sacred fire is a reality, and you are a reality, not a figment of someone's imagination. As you stand then, conscious of the triumph of your God freedom that is resident within your souls, let it be in that firmness of mind that determines that none shall ever pass where you stand. For you stand for God and for God truth, and so long as you do, you may take the sword of my office in your hand and declare with full fervor, I am God-free. The earth is God-free, and all life is God-free, now and forever. I thank you.